Did you know that Manchester United have scored just 2 goals in our last 5 Premier League games? That's bad. Like, really bad. For a bit of context, Liverpool literally scored 5 in their last Premier League game against Tottenham. We haven't managed that in the last 5 games combined. Not even half of that in our last 5 games combined. However, slightly weirdly, I actually think we're getting a lot better in the final third. I think we're starting to see patterns that suggest it's working under Ruben Amorim. So, am I losing my mind, or am I onto something? So I think United are getting better in the final third despite scoring just 2 goals in the past 5 games. Reason number 1 is the underlying numbers. If you look at the expected goals over the past 5 games, we've actually been expected to score a total of 7. Now I know this is a metric that gets a little bit of criticism in terms of the lack of context it possesses sometimes, but sort of as a base value, expected goals, 7? That's not too bad over 5 Premier League games, although it still needs to improve moving forward. But that is immediately a sign that United are perhaps better than it looks. The other thing which makes me think, though, that we are getting much closer to what Ruben Amorim wants is when you think back to his first training session at Manchester United. You guys may remember it, you may not, but the video was released. We saw Amarim working with some of the fringe players in the squad. We saw the system, the patterns of play that he was trying to encourage. And you may remember one of them involved one of the deeper players, potentially a centre-back, potentially a central midfielder, picking the ball up and switching it out to the far side. What we then saw was an underlapping run from one of the inside forwards, attacking closer to the byline, you could say, in the final third of the pitch. We then saw the striker in the middle, a little bit closer to the goal, and the cutback would be played across to the other number 10. Now just let me try and put that into a bit of perspective actually on the football pitch. So let's say United have got the ball in these deeper positions over here, and the central midfielder's got the ball. What we're trying to do is draw the opposition over to us like this, because we know if you can draw the opposition over, then you can create space on the far side of the pitch, particularly in the case of Manchester United and the system that we are currently using. You see, most teams in the Premier League defend with this back four like so. If Manchester United can attack with a front 5, that means we're going to have more players, which means you can find players in channels. So this channel here, you've got this channel here, you've got this channel here between the 2 centre-backs, if we move them across, this channel, and also this channel out here. So if you can switch the ball out to the wing-back, like we saw in that clip, the full-back gets drawn out towards you, but the centre-back can't really close the space here because they're occupied by the centre-forward, up here. This creates this little bit of space for our inside forward to run into. You can play the underlapping pass. What happens here is the centre-backs, of course, naturally drop deeper. 1, because they need to protect their goal from the obvious shot, but also because the striker will make a run into this position. So physically, they have to mark him. This creates a space, though, here on the edge of the penalty area, or just inside the penalty area for Manchester United to shoot from. This is what Ruben Amorim wants us to do. We literally saw it in the first training session. Now look at Manchester United's shot map from the game at the weekend against Bournemouth. It's the exact zone that we're talking about. Now, of course, doing it in Amorim's first training session is one thing. It is something completely different to do it in the Premier League or the biggest matches in the Europa League knockout stages. However, like I just suggested there with the stat against Bournemouth, I actually think Manchester United are starting to do it. I think we are genuinely starting to see this pattern. For example, in the first leg against Lyon, we saw United moving the ball to the far side. We then saw that sort of underlapping motion into the final third. We saw the striker near the goalkeeper, and we cut the ball back towards the penalty spot and had a shot at goal. That's evidence of the exact pattern that we're talking about working, being in sort of full flow. We also saw it around, 9 or 10 days ago in the Premier League against Wolverhampton Wanderers. You can see United moving the ball down the left-hand side, playing the ball forward to the underlapping run into this space here, the striker much closer to the goalkeeper, and then we cut the ball back towards Bruno Fernandes. We also had another occasion as well where, again, we move the ball down the left-hand side, we slide the ball into that channel for the player to run onto, we cut the ball back, and this time it was Mason Mount. And there's a genuine argument that we should be scoring these chances. What we've got at the moment is a habit of scuffing it. You know, when Bruno Fernandes is scuffing these shots, you know, luck's not really going your way, but United are getting into good areas. Again, even this weekend against Bournemouth, we saw it. Moving down the side of the pitch, finding the underlapping run, the striker being much closer to the goalkeeper, and then cutting the ball back into that danger area for one of the attacking midfielders to move on to. We need to be scoring these goals because the pattern is working. So what's the negative? Because normally there's a but, right, in these videos. Normally there is a but. There's something wrong with these systems or these patterns. And I guess the complaint I would have here is the lack of service it creates for our striker. Because if you're moving the ball out to the left-hand side, to the wing-back, and then you're getting the underlapping run going into the final third, and then your striker is attacking the goal to take defenders with him, he himself doesn't actually get to shoot a goal. We spoke about that the other day in the Rasmus Højlund video. The fact that he himself doesn't get too many opportunities. So we need to see more patterns developing, of course. We need to see more attacking evolution as we move forward. But in terms of this particular pattern, Højlund may not be getting the shots off himself, but simply by making this run, by taking the centre-backs deeper, he is opening up that space on the edge of the penalty area, between kind of the edge of the box and also the penalty spot. We are creating spaces there. There is another shot map here. Again, United getting shots off in that position. So I guess the question now is, how do we take this exciting, promising pattern and turn it into something really effective, something which actually gives us regular, reliable goal output in the final third? And I think realistically, the obvious solution is a change of personnel, because currently in those 2-10 positions, we've got players like Kobbie Mainoo sometimes, we've got Garnacho, players that aren't exactly instinctive killers in the final third. Like I said, even Bruno Fernandes has struggled with a couple of these moments recently. So someone like Matheus Cunha in the summer is a natural solution, because when he gets into these positions, he's lethal. He is a very strong finisher, and he probably would take advantage of more of these moments. But apart from that, for me, it is a case of just being a little bit patient. I think people are very happy to criticise Ruben Amorim, particularly using this back three system, which he's quite stubborn with. He sticks to it all the time. People are throwing criticism at him all the time. I think what we need to remember, though, is that when he does something good, when the team improves in a certain area, we should highlight it, because everyone's talking about all the bad stuff, but not the fact that we are genuinely improving in certain parts of the game. This is an attacking pattern that is making Manchester United better. And let's just run through it quickly one more time, just to make it crystal clear what we are talking about here. So we're talking about the ball being deeper, drawing the opposition towards us. We're then talking about an overlapping run from the wing-back or the winger, perhaps, on the far side. The ball comes over. The fullback comes towards him. Then we have this channel of space to attack in the final third. We slide the ball in there. The striker attacks the goal line. The centre-backs drop back with him. We create this space here for us to attack, and players currently are making very good decisions to pick out this player in the final third and finish into the back of the net. And that is something else that I just mentioned there that we should talk about. Player decisions have been good. We are looking for that cutback. So again, Amarim deserves credit for that, because once upon a time, we just seemed to shoot every time we got into the final third. Now, I guess the final thing that I should clarify is that I don't think Manchester United are suddenly this amazing, scintillating, perfect attacking team. We are far from that. There are still so many areas where we need to improve, not just at the top end of the pitch, but throughout the pitch, really. Every phase of play, we need to see improvements. However, like I said earlier, I think people are so happy to criticise what we're doing at the moment, and not enough people are highlighting some of the positives that we do see. So I thought I would do that today. I think we are getting better at attacking in this way. We just need to see patience in terms of sticking with the idea, sticking with the pattern, the principles of play. And then also we need some slightly better finishing in the final third. If we could do that, it would be lovely, because suddenly if we score those goals against Lyon in the first leg, or against Bournemouth, or against Wolves, the picture is very, very different. And I think the stance and the view around Ruben Amorim would be very different. So my opinion, my advice, if you like, actually, would be stick with it. Stick with it. We're getting better. It's still going to take a lot more time, of course, but we are getting somewhere with this. We are improving in the final third, and I think, I hope, the goals will come for Manchester United. Whether they will or not, we now just kind of have to wait and see. In terms of, for today's video, there's nothing really else to talk about. We just have to wait and see if we start scoring the goals. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, get notifications on, check out the Discord link in the description, and also the link to the second channel as well. Give that a look. But apart from that, we're finished. So thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.